Oh, hey.
How are the spirits?
Not crushed yet.
It's still early days.
Still high.
Yeah, this is just documenting at this point in time
While we smile.
how smiley everybody is.
Fucking spend it soon though.
Yeah. Hey. Still, everyone's still grinning.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get a Coke.
Yeah. You want fries with that? We bypassed the donut stop because the line was too big. It's a pretty good compromise.
Gravel stretch quickly wore off.
You're lucky a fucking
Yeah.
You like apples? How do you like your apples now?
Recovery time 1 hour. You're cooked, mate.
Clearly didn't try hard enough.
Yeah. What's 380 TSS? Day one. Troy, you're sitting down pretty much says it all.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, nah. Yeah, nah. Yeah, nah.
But
Beginning of Jamboree Pass, where you control the action, Troy. 6 kilometers winding road.
fun riding down. Let's see how it's like going up it.
I got the shit started.
Gumming. Yeah.
Massive. Not so cold now.
Oh, my shoes! Oh, my shoes! Oh, my shoes! The back road was a bit of a food.
After what did we do today?
Rico ride.
Just a Rico ride.
How many Ks was the Rico ride?
150, I think.
50?
145.
Will be by the time we get home.
145 to here.
And what was the pace again?
Moderate. Only have a small amount of climbing.
Yeah, what's the bird?
How many meters of climbing?
2800, isn't it?
Just one hell of a start. Almost 25 to here.
Yikes.
Might do a couple of the levels on the way home. Not gonna
Go for my place and like, get a couple of sharp ones in.
We all know Paddy doesn't like to finish on uneven numbers, so I make an exception to that. We're gonna get that.
Okay, so that was our overnight ride, and it was epic. We've never done anything like that before, so it deserves a good breakdown. So let's do this, shall we? The route. We started from Sutherland, headed south towards Wollongong, past Port Kembla, west towards Albion Park, then up Macquarie Pass to Robinson, Robinson over to Kangaroo Valley to Berry, and Berry finally to Kiama, where our Airbnb was. Some definite highlights from day one. Macquarie Pass. Climbing that is always a treat. It's 30 to 40 minutes, there's good views on the way up. There's also not that many climbs like that around here, so every time we get to do it, it's a good test, and also just heaps of fun. Also, there's a pie shop at the top, so everyone can regroup, talk about how hard the hill was, have a pastry, you know, etc, etc. Also, the descent into Barrengarry was epic. You got this nice wide road to work with, plenty of hairpin corners, views on the way down. It's steep, but not too steep, so you still get some decent speed, probably like 70, 80 k's an hour. My only gripe on that was that we got stuck behind some cars about halfway down, so it kind of slowed up the pace a bit, but hey, you can still rip it around some corners and have a good time. Here's the thing, at the bottom of Barrengarry, you pass through Kangaroo Valley, and there's this general store there that makes the best almond croissants. But of course, we didn't stop because we're riding with John Odoms. And when you're riding with John, there's no stops. It's just like a small regrouping stop, a quick cafe stop for a coffee, or like maybe a 7-Eleven donut and a Coke, and then you're off your way. It's prompt, it's quick. It's the way I've always ridden, and I like that style of riding because you get to your destination in a prompt manner, but it's not for everybody. From Kangaroo Valley, we're headed towards Berry, and we knew there was a climb right before Berry, but we just didn't know how steep it was going to be, and it just sort of popped out of nowhere. It was like 2Ks, 11%, and I think it was called Watermolla Road, but it just like ended us. And by the top of that climb, we just couldn't wait to get to Berry to have a donut. But of course, when we got to Berry, the line for the donut van was ridiculously long. We're talking like 30-40 minutes, and as you know, we're riding with John, so that's just unacceptable. So we just stopped at the local 7-Eleven, got a can of drink, had a pat on the back, and then realized that we only have 10Ks to go to Kiama. So we're off again, and we're on the way to Kiama, and well, it's only about 10Ks, and you've just got these last couple of bends to get to the top of, I guess, Kiama Mountain, and I bonked hard. My sugars were going low. I'm a diabetic type 1, and I was just inhaling jelly beans to try and get out of this hunger flat. But we got there. I made it. Troy helped me over those last couple of hills. Thanks, Troy. And yeah, we're basically at the Airbnb in Kiama at this point after those rolling hills. And our Airbnb host greeted us at that point. And we did what cyclists do after that. After a big ride, you just sit down, you eat kilos of food for the evening, and you have a good time. You put a Will Ferrell movie on, and you go to bed early, and you wake up and do it again the next day. So that was that evening. And I'll talk through some of the logistics. I know I'm going all over the place, but for this overnight ride, we had Troy's wife drive our overnight bags down at about 2 p.m. when we arrived at the accommodation. So that way we have clothes for the evening, fresh kit, all the comforts of our own home basically while we're away. And that worked out great because, yeah, as I said, comforts. Day 2, the route. We started at our Airbnb in Kiama. We left our bags there, locked up, and away we went. We headed, I think, further west towards Jamberoo Pass. Then from Jamberoo Pass, we headed towards Wollongong, and then once we're at Wollongong, you just take the coast road and you're back to Sutherland, which is our starting point. the highlights of day 2, Jamboree Pass. None of us have done this climb before, but it's, what, 20 to 30 minutes. It's steep. It was just a big wake-up call because it was within the first hour of riding, and it was so tough. But I was happy. I set a new 20-minute power, which is odd considering that we rode 191 Ks the day before, but hey, sometimes things just work out like that. Troy and Ben looked like they were struggling a little bit. John and Box, they're meat axes, workhorses. They were at the top in no time. But yeah, I could tell it was going to be a long day for Troy.
That first bit's not friendly, is it?
After we regrouped at the top of Jamboree Pass, we headed towards Macquarie Pass, down Macquarie Pass, and then through the country roads to Wollongong. Just seeing the nice countryside is just something we don't see on our usual rides here, like the farm sort of land with the escarpment in the backdrop. It was really nice and different to what we're used to, so I really enjoyed that aspect of it. Once we got to Wollongong and the coast road, we do that ride all the time. It was smooth sailing all the way back, other than when my Shimano Di2 just decided to just conk out. My gear stopped working with about 30 Ks from home, and there were a bunch of hills left. So what we did at this point was, what did we do at this point? I just rode in the gear that I was stuck in, which had me at like 110 cadence at 30 Ks an hour. So it was really tough on the flats, but on the little pinch climbs, I could sort of make it up, no worries. Once I made it to the top of Bald Hill, which is one of the largest hills before we got home, John Odoms hooked his bike up to my Di2, and then we changed the gears so I could favor speed over climbing ability. And I what did I do? I just spun out in that gear all the way home. It was in the little ring at the front, so the 36 tooth, and then 2 from the back on the rear cassette. So I don't know what that makes it, probably 14 or 15 tooth on the back. But it was acceptable. I made it home, and we got donuts at Sutherland, and that was basically it. Troy was ruined at Sutherland. It was a mess, like sort of head down, just, yep. But I'm proud of everyone, and especially Troy, for completing the ride, and we're definitely doing that again. Logistics for day 2. After we completed the ride, our bags were still at the Kiama Airbnb. So Box actually drove down straight after the ride, the hour and a half down, picked up our bags, drove them back, and dropped us all our bags at our houses that evening, which was epic. So huge thank you to Box. And that was our overnighter ride. Feel free to ask me any questions, like, subscribe, do all the things that people say to do at the end of videos, but have a good one.